Hello, hello, lovely beings. 'Tis I, your host and mindset guide, Autumn Oakley. Welcome to today's episode of the Autumn Mindset. So, today's episode, I wanted to talk about shifting mindset, shifting perspective, and how it actually means coming out of the mind. I used to struggle years past, for decades, in this struggle, this perception that I feel so many of us feel stuck to a lot of the time, that we just want to shift our mindset, we just want to change, but we focus on the mind. We get stuck in this loop of feeling stuck in the mind because we are learning all these things, we're trying to, pursue these new aspects, but we keep falling into old patterns. We are focused on the mindset instead of addressing different details. And what I came to know is me coming out of the mind and focusing on different areas of my life actually is what shifted my mindset over time. So, coming out of the mind, ironic, isn't it? A lot of the time, the mind just focuses on the thing, and that's in every area of life, whether it's health, business, the person you want to step into, every detail of life. When we set an intention and focus on that thing, that's where our mind goes. Yes, we direct our energy there. But I think sometimes that is the thing we need to bring our awareness to, is that sometimes the mind only knows what it's experienced. The mind likes subconscious patterns. So when we perceive that we want something, if we're stuck in the mind, it's actually not always aligned with the feeling we want to feel. It's not always aligned with what's authentic to us. And that was what I came to know over the years, in my healing journey, in stepping into my higher self, and just kind of changing different aspects in every area of my life, of myself, of my environments, my relationships, my career. You can completely transform who you are and experience something different in your reality as many times as you need to. And this also comes with mindset. This also comes with shifting our perspective. And we hear it all the time. And I used to feel so, I used to feel so much self-doubt. I used to feel so much confusion when people would say, you want to change your life? Change your mindset. And yes, it's a repetitive saying. And I think, for me, in my experience, and I think so many people, is that when we are stuck in the mind, we don't really know what that means. We are like, what does that mean? What do I need to do? And then we look outside of ourselves. We look to other people to, gain that clarity. We fall into the self-help of things where we're reading all these books, but we're not really, taking those actions, or we're not addressing different things that we actually need to. We're not practicing presence with ourselves, doing things on our own. We are looking outside of ourselves to make changes of ourselves. So coming out of the mind is really a big part of that. So time and time again, when I would be pursuing things, I think what I've learned over time is that the perception I was holding was what I came to know. And when I just kind of let go of the outcome, I let go of the control, I started doing things that were making me feel good in the present moment that had nothing to do with my mindset. The universe brought in new opportunities. The universe brought in better health. The universe brought me new experiences. And this is where new mindsets come in. This is when new perspectives kind of come in, is that, sometimes we're trying to force things, but we're not really shifting our mindset. We're not really gaining a new awareness of, this perception that we're trying to seek. We get stuck in saying we need to shift our mindset. We need to do these things. And I think a lot of, people, and I myself over the years, really perceive that as changing your mindset is about doing the things. Changing your mindset is about being disciplined, and you need to be disciplined. I'm saying it in a funny voice. You need to have disciplines in life. But I think if that's all you're doing, you're just, following through on the consistency day by day, but you're not really expanding into different areas of your life, doing your healing. If you're not, living life, getting out of your comfort zone to travel alone, to, create a business, to do the things that you really want to do, but that, yes, maybe scare you, to bring our awareness to different things, really looking into the details of our relationships. Have we had them for decades? Are they affecting us in that way? We only know what we've experienced. The mind is what keeps us in patterns. The mind is what keeps us, living a life of what we come to know. So this is why coming out of the mind and not focusing on the mindset actually helps you to naturally, gradually shift your mindset and your perspective over time. Because when we're putting all that energy to, I just need to change my mindset, I just need to do all these things, I just need to learn more. Let's be real. It brings on anxiety. It brings on stress. It brings on, this shame that we feel like we're not changing. It brings on the limiting beliefs, the self-doubt. We get stuck in the mind, and then we're on this loop feeling like we're doing all these things, but we're not actually shifting our perspective. We're not actually letting go of limiting beliefs. We're not actually addressing the things that we need to in a different way that's actually going to shift your mindset to become a different person. And that's what we perceive. Shifting your mindset is going to change your life, right? But it's about your embodiment. It's about who you are that really allows the energy to change in your environments, in your reality, that the universe brings in different details. And that's what I've experienced time and time again. It's like coming out of the mind actually brings in the things you're looking for. Coming out of the mind and bringing yourself to the present moment and asking yourself, what can I do right now that maybe, yes, is uncomfortable, but is going to bring me to a space on the other side of facing that resistance to an elevated energy. Whether that is, yes, doing the disciplines and doing the hard things in fitness, but sometimes it's not always about what our mind perceives as like doing the same style of fitness all the time. Sometimes that's for us to say, hey, you know what? I've been doing the same workouts for years. I just want to change my mindset. I just want to change this detail. And yes, gradual progress is a thing, but maybe it's for me to recognize like I still have the same mindset I've had for years. And that's the perception that I've come to know is like, regardless if I'm seeing things change in my reality, in life, if my perspective, my mindset isn't shifting, I don't perceive I'm actually growing. I feel that, when we aren't shifting our mindset, shifting our perspective, we're not recognizing a shift in that detail of our lives. That really is us stuck in patterns. That's us stuck in the subconscious mind, repeating cycles. So it's in kind of like coming out of the mind, you will really just gain clarity and bring your awareness to the most uncomfortable thing of your life that you might not want to face, because being intentional about that will bring forth truth. And it's coming out of the mind, focusing on the life that you are co-creating, in this reality, that you will bring awareness to the details that actually need to shift that energy to really shift your mindset, shift your perspective. But it's brave to want to seek truth, because it's in truth. You can't unsee it. It's in truth. Your mindset does shift because you become aware of different things. And that's how your life changes, awareness. So that's really, what I perceive. And time again, things just kind of come into your life and manifest in that way. When I was trying to focus on my mindset and trying to heal, fibromyalgia pains. Let's be real, changing your mindset. How I perceived that in the past was, I want to get rid of fibromyalgia. The doctors say there's no cure. This is the second time I've had chronic illness that left me bedridden. I'm stuck in the mind. I just want to change my mindset so I can change this aspect of my life. What do I need to do? Well, the mind tells you, focus on your nutrition. The mind tells you, I need to, sit and rest. The mind tells you, maybe I should listen to what the doctors say and take these medications, but they say there's no cure. Am I stuck to this, way of life forever? Am I going to hold an identity with this version of myself that I have no control to change? And that's what the mind is. When we focus on the mind, we fall into all of these details that we're listening to everything that we are experiencing outside of ourselves. And this is where we get stuck in manifesting a lot of the same. Because it's when I came to a space, I came out of the mind, I stopped focusing on all of these stressful details, and I got really uncomfortable in sitting with myself to ask myself the really hard questions I didn't want to face, that I'm the co-creator of this reality. Okay, I have fibromyalgia, and I know sometimes we're not going to understand why illness comes up, but I had to recognize, this is a repeating pattern There's stress in my life. There's details in my life that I need to change. And my mindset was always leading back into, I have to focus on the nutrition. I have to focus on, healing. I have to focus on like, what can I do? And looking for different details and that sort of thing. The mind will lead us into what we've come to know of patterns to try to find a resolution. But what I came to know is like, okay, coming out of that, remove the perception and stop focusing on the fibromyalgia and just sit with yourself in the present moment. Come out of the mindset of what you're trying to change and just ask this one question. Just ask, what is the element of my life that I most do not want to face? And that will shift your reality. That will shift your mindset. Because when you intentionally go all in on the one thing you really don't want to do that your ego has been avoiding, because it's going to bring on discomfort, it's going to lead you to make change, it's going to lead you to see the truth of things in your life, that's when things shift for you. That's when your mindset shifts, because you bring awareness to things. So that's what happened, is like, just this unique detail, but this is in every area of my life, whether it was finances, whether it was stepping into a new version of myself, whether it was, sticking to healthy habits, leaving, alcohol, consumption for prolonged periods of time for most of my life on a binge all the time. Anything you want to change in your life, we always say, change your mindset to change this detail of what you're experiencing. But what I came to know is like, that's not the way all the time. That leads us into subconscious patterns, and that's where we get stuck. So it's about coming out of the mind, coming out of the thing, and stop focusing on the thing you're looking to change, and just continuously ask the question, what of every area of my life is the thing I really don't want to face? And just keep asking that question. And when you intentionally direct your energy to that question, you will get an answer. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's going to bring truth. It's going to bring awareness. And that's the thing you need to shift. Because when I was doing that time and time again, this is all I do all day. I love doing this. I'm always asking myself questions, but it helps me bring awareness to, what needs to shift in my life, what needs to shift of my mindset. But it's always in accordance to different details, not of the mind. The mind leads us into, disarray sometimes. It's about addressing different things that your mindset will naturally shift over time. You don't really need to force it. And that's what I mean. Sometimes we try to force things and then we're like, oh, overwhelmed, trying to learn all this stuff, trying to add more to our schedule, trying to do all these disciplines. But our perception isn't changing. Our emotional state isn't shifting. We're living a lot of the same in our reality. We're not having new experiences. We're not receiving new opportunities. All the things we're looking to change, yes, be disciplined in life, and set intentions, plant those seeds to manifest change. But, it's really about kind of letting go of the control of things and really just facing the hardest aspects of your life, of what you're experiencing, that is going to awaken the change in your mindset that you're looking for, and of your reality as well. And when I was just focusing on those details, I did this time and time again. The scariest thing I didn't want to face at that point in time when I was suffering in fibromyalgia, it didn't have to do with my physical body. I stopped focusing on, the fact that I was in chronic pain, that, I was drinking a lot of alcohol to kind of numb out with that. I, stopped focusing on the nutrition. I stopped focusing on, the detail that, yes, I was still, trying to eat healthy. Yes, I was still, trying to work out and do those aspects. I was still doing the actions, but I was focusing less on that as the answer to resolve, the fibromyalgia, to find a solution. And I really just started asking the question, what is the scariest thing, the most uncomfortable thing that I don't want to face? And every time I would ask that question, every few days, something new would come up, and it brought awareness to things. I really recognized, I really did not want to face the truth of my romantic relationship. I felt alone. I felt unheard. I was communicating all these boundaries. I was communicating, these details over the years. And it's not to place blame on anyone. But that was the thing I really didn't want to face, is that I didn't want to let go I didn't want to let go of, the relationship because I loved them. I didn't want to let go of the relationship because I invested 8 years of my life with them. I didn't want to let go of this, aspect of what I was holding on to. And that was the scariest thing, is that, I was intentionally asking these deep-rooted questions to say, okay, I didn't want to face that. But when I really brought awareness to that, you see the truth of it. You really see the truth of, what you're allowing into your life, how you're being treated. And everyone's on their own journey, but it's really what you're allowing into your life and what you are partaking in, what you are taking action towards, the details of yourself. So in asking the question, what is the scariest thing that I don't want to face? What is the most uncomfortable thing that I've been avoiding? And directing your energy there, it'll shift your life. And that's what I was doing. I was really recognizing these details. And as I took steps towards that, things kind of shattered and ended in that way. But the universe makes moves for you when you are embracing the change of the really big discomforts. Your mindset shifts, your perspective shifts, your reality shifts in a better way. And I kept asking that question, for a few months, time and time again. And I was going deeper and deeper and deeper into the fact that, I'm the co-creator of my reality, my life. So in asking those deep-rooted questions that, yes, were very uncomfortable, I brought awareness to different details of, my career that maybe, yes, I did feel a little lost. And that was for me to kind of recognize, like, maybe I need to explore something, but I'm really scared because I was very codependent. That scared the shit out of me. I had to recognize, like, I was feeling called to do things on my own. I'd never done that. I never ate in restaurants on my own. I never traveled alone. I never pursued things on my own. I never explored myself. I didn't know who I was. And that was the scariest thing that I avoided for most of my life. And it's when I started intentionally doing the most uncomfortable aspects, my life started to change. My mindset shifted. I brought awareness to things. And I was never someone who set boundaries. I started dipping my toe into boundaries. I started practicing that. I got really uncomfortable in that. I started doing that. I started doing the healing. I repressed 30 years of trauma, and I started doing that. I really started focusing on what is the scariest thing that I've been avoiding of my life. What are the conversations that I need to have? What are the details of my life that are actually, leading me to grieve, this version of myself that are leading me to grieve something that's going to be lost. So uncomfortable, yes, but I can tell you, this is when your mindset actually shifts because you become aware of things. You actually embrace the change. And that's what we view as mindset, is that we just want to take these actions. We just want to create routines. We just want to learn and do new things. But sometimes, let's face it, we still feel stuck in the mind. We still question, why am I falling back into depression? Why am I not manifesting, the things I want to? Why do I manifest the things I want to, but I don't feel any different? Because we're stuck in the mind. We're stuck in the subconscious patterns. The mind leads us to want to pursue things we've experienced because of a comfort level. So it's really asking that question just in a broad perspective continuously over time. You're going to bring awareness to your life. You're going to bring your awareness outside of your mind, and that will help you to gain clarity of what you actually need to change, what you need to shift that's actually going to shift your mindset. And through your mindset, that's what leads to your beliefs. Your belief systems is what, a big detail of what you manifest into your life. Because if you don't believe you deserve better than what you're accepting in any detail, then you're going to continue to attract and accept in your life what you're experiencing up until that moment, until you decide and set that intention, make that decision to change, to say, I deserve something different. I want to step into a new way of living. I'm done living this way. But it's through your belief system, right? So the mind always says, be consistent, do the things. But sometimes it's about removing the mind. Sometimes it's about coming out of the perspective that we perceive in this moment that we need to change to actually change the thing we're looking to. And this is exactly what happened. As I healed, I regulated my nervous system. I stopped focusing on the things I was looking to shift in my life, and I focused on just the biggest details time and time again that were the most uncomfortable in my life, whether it was setting boundaries, whether it was, giving myself self-love, whether it was healing past traumas, all of the things that I really, really avoided, and did not want to face. It wasn't about doing the nutrition. It wasn't about, doing the fitness. It wasn't about the medications. In time, was me booking a one-way ticket across country, doing the scariest thing, that I was pacing back and forth all weekend, that I had never done anything on my own. I was literally ending the life I'd come to know. And I did the scariest thing, and my fibromyalgia pain vanished. My, the things I was stuck to, they began to fall away. And this is just like one example of many, is that I stopped focusing on the thing. I stopped focusing on, what my mindset was telling me that I needed to shift in my life. And that's what actually brought forth change. That's what actually manifested change in my mindset, the beliefs I was holding, trusting in myself and the universe in a different way. Coming out of the mind is really going to help you shift your mindset. Ironic, I know, but that's what I've come to know time and time again. It's about presence. It's about, being intentional and giving yourself love and care and taking responsibility, but also like understanding that if we want change, if we want to shift our mindset to come out of old patterns, if we want to shift our mindset in our belief systems, we need to really just focus out of the mind and just focus on our, reality, our life that we're living, and face the hardest thing. Face the hardest thing that you have been avoiding. Sometimes, yes, maybe that is fitness. Go ahead, do that. But just keep asking the question, and the universe will bring that answer to you. Time and time again, things will come up. There's synchronicities in life and those details that things will keep coming up in your view until you're ready to make a shift, until you're willing to make a change. But when we're stuck in the mind and stuck in this perception that we just need to shift our mindset, things get cloudy, things get foggy, and that's where we get confused, why we can't change our lives, why we feel stuck in life, why we feel like we're stuck to this mindset, and we're so hard on ourselves. We're always saying, we want to become a different person. We want to experience a different way of living. And that was me for most of my life. So know that I send you love through the screen. But, this is my perspective of what's truly transformed my mindset over time. And regardless of what you're experiencing in regards to change in your life, change in your reality, sometimes it's really heavy and I know it sucks. And sometimes we're in a period of, planting seeds, we're in stagnancy, we're not experiencing change. I think the main thing for you to question is that if you're truly growing, your mindset should be shifting. If you're truly growing, your perspective and awareness should be changing over time. You should hold different beliefs. You should view things in different ways. Maybe, you perceived something in a certain way for a prolonged period of time that, this person, you blame them for the situations you've come into, but it's in you taking responsibility for that. Facing those really hard things that you have been avoiding for years, to set boundaries, to remove yourself, to do the uncomfortable things and come into a space of, self-love, supporting yourself, taking responsibility for your life, doing the hard things we've been avoiding, that in time, your perception will shift. Your perception will shift because you'll say, hey, I feel really good now. Hey, boundaries actually help support my mindset. Boundaries actually help me, in my way of life, the energy I embody. And that's what I mean. Coming out of the perception that we need to be focusing on our mindset to shift our mindset is actually what's going to bring forth the change. And that's my unique perspective on things. So that's all you got to do. Ask yourself questions, what you're experiencing in life. I ask myself questions all the time, but really just come to a space of calm, of clarity, and ask the one question time and time again. What is the scariest and most uncomfortable thing I'm not willing to face? So I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Autumn Mindset, and I hope that it inspires you to come out of the mind and shift your perspective on things.